Forestry offers a plethora of opportunity for those keen to step into a challenging, innovative and rewarding industry. From those involved in the world of scientific labs to those planting the sites, planting the trees, organising crews, pruning, management and more. With growing demand from the domestic and export markets, there is never a shortage of work. It all starts with the site selection and preparation. Sites are prepared to create the very best conditions for tree survival and growth. That means spraying weeds, ripping or ploughing the soil and forming soil mounds in readiness for planting. Trees are usually planted by hand with spades used to dig the holes. The number of trees planted per hectare can vary from 600 to 1400. Fertiliser is added to areas where soil is lacking in nutrients.
The rotation of a forest is generally sort of 26 to 28 years, and it starts with the land preparation of the forest, and then the following winter we would go in and do the establishment. Some years after that, generally about 5 to 9, we would go and do some silviculture, and that may involve pruning and thinning the stand or perhaps just thinning it. And then we leave the forest to grow out to that point where we believe it's ready to harvest.
A half to two-thirds of the trees planted are usually cut down during the early stages of the growing cycle to remove the poorer quality trees that may be small or malformed, making room for better quality trees. The felled trees can be either thinned to waste, where they're left on the ground to rot. This is generally done on flatter sites. Trees are harvested around 25 to 35 years of age. Ideal final tree numbers sit at around about 300 to 500 stems per hectare. These make infrastructure construction and maintenance an important driver in the economics of overall harvesting operations. The roading networks have a key role in linking the forest plantations with export facilities and processing plants. Roads need to be put in to access the forest blocks. The planning and construction of safe, environmentally sound and cost-effective infrastructure is essential to ensure New Zealand's forestry operations remain internationally competitive. There are currently approximately 1.75 million hectares in plantation forests throughout the country, a significant proportion of which are in the first rotation forests. These forests typically require substantial infrastructure development before harvesting. Many of New Zealand's plantations are on steep, erosion-prone hill country that is often long distances from mills or ports. Forests will have several temporary roads put in when they're established, but before harvest there is plenty of planning to be done to ensure the best way to do this effectively and efficiently. Generally, felled trees won't be pulled out more than 600 metres to a skid or landing where the stems are cut into logs and trucked out. This requires a lot of management as to where best put the roads and landings. The shorter the distance to the road and landing, the cheaper the harvest. Terrain and the environment both play a big part in deciding just where the roads will be built on steeper country. The amount of wood a hectare can produce depends on the rotation of the trees, how many are grown to maturity and the productivity of the site, which in turn relates to the soil depth and fertility and climate. On average, a hectare of forest will grow 23 cubic metres of wood per year. But under very good conditions such as deep pumice soil and a mild climate, this could be as high as 30 cubic metres, which would produce 840 cubic metres of wood at harvest at 28 years. While harvesting used to be a very manual process by men with chainsaws, it is a far more mechanised operation these days. Trees are felled by either chainsaws or mechanical harvesters, the latter of which is a highly skilled task. It requires expertise to minimise breakage and wastage and make it easier for extraction when the felled trees are taken to the skid or landing by wheeled skidders, crawler tractors or overhead cable haulers for processing. At the skid, the branches are cut off and the stems cut into logs. The log maker is a very skilled individual who determines which are the best value logs based on log diameter, branch size and straightness. More recently, with the introduction of the mechanical processing equipment, the skilled operator is an asset to the business. From there it's onto the trucks for transport to depots, mills or ports. Overseeing everything that happens are the forest managers, who face the crucial task of ensuring that the right trees are produced for the right end products. The industry takes pride in the way forests are managed and cared for, from the land preparation, seed selection, planting, disease and pest control through to thinning, pruning and harvesting. There is supervision along with quality control at each step of the forestry cycle. It's a deliberate, methodical and continued process to ensure the product requirements of the customer are met. It is well suited to the innovative and high quality products made. And then there's the processing. There's an array of products produced including fibreboard, particle board, plywood, medium density fibreboard, heavy duty engineering timber, timber for furniture, house sidings and mouldings, and laminated veneer lumber.
Duke New Zealand is a vertically integrated company which supplies a steady stream of sustainably managed logs to its own processing facilities in Gisborne. The processing facilities in Gisborne produce a wide range of products.
Products are made for both the domestic and export markets. Logs are sold mainly to Korea, Japan, China and India, where the timber is used in construction, packaging, pellets, car cases and cable drums. In China, it is also used to make furniture or furniture components. Eastland Port in Gisborne is the district's only primary seaport, with about 92 to 95% of the region's export production being shipped from it.
Since the early 2000s, when the port exported about 300,000 tonnes, our exports have grown to over 2.5 million this year, and we're expecting those to move to about 3.5 million by the year 2020.
Over the last few years, the port has invested in several initiatives to support wood products exports. They have the largest log scaling facility in New Zealand, and on site is a debarking fungicide treatment plant processing up to 1,200 cubic metres of high volume prude logs daily. Unsurprisingly, the industry has become a major employer in the region. 1 in 4 of the region's 15,000 households has someone whose job is dependent on forestry.
The industry in Gisborne employs just over 4,000 full-time equivalents, which is fairly significant given the size of it. 3.1% of the population here is involved in the forest industry.
For every logging truck that comes to the port, there's around about 7 to 8 people employed. There's education, training, the accountants, the lawyers, geotechnical people, managers, from seed to processing to the time that we open a door that's made out of wood. The flow on is absolutely fantastic.
By 2025, the national forest industry is expected to need 25,900 more trained workers.
From an employment perspective, there's significant opportunities here. The industry is actually growing. When you actually look at the activities going on, there's more harvesting carrying on, there's more planting establishment, there's more opportunities for people to get into the industry. We've got a number of very good training providers that offer a significant range of courses.
There is a growing need for a highly trained workforce. While most of the work is outdoors in the forest, there are also engineering, research, planning and management jobs available. Forestry and logging workers plant, prune, measure, cut and clear trees from forests. They have good knowledge of trees and timber types, knowledge of tree pruning, felling, cutting and trimming methods, good mechanical operation skills from chainsaws to heavy vehicles, along with firefighting and health and safety skills. There are several ways to get into the industry, with courses available at institutes of technology, polytechnics and other tertiary organisations around the country. Take time to learn a little more about an innovative industry that has plenty of future opportunities across a number of careers. Those already in forestry will tell you it's the best job in the world.